Ugbechie is the Group Managing Director of Rain Oil Limited, which he founded in 1997. He has over 30 years of direct sales, marketing, and operations experience within the oil and gas space. Over the last 2 decades, he has directly overseen the growth of the group's operations across the entire downstream value chain, comprising 3 ultra-modern petroleum product storage depots, that is 50 million liter capacity multi-product depots in Okara, Delta State, Calabar, Cross River State, and Ijegun-Egba, Lagos State, an 8,000 metric ton LPG storage facility in Ijegun, Lagos State, over 100 retail outlets spread across the country, over 100 petroleum product tank trucks, and over 40 LPG trucks for efficient delivery of products to Rain Oil's network of stations and customers across the country. In his capacity as Group Managing Director, he oversees a staff strength of over 1,200. Dr. Gabriel Ugbechie pioneered the petroleum product bulk storage investment in the Okara axis of Delta State, which is today a critical hub for petroleum product supply in the country. He is a graduate of production engineering from the University of Benin, Nigeria, and holds an honorary doctorate degree of technology management from Novena University, Nigeria. In line with his drive for service excellence and self-development, he has attended several management courses locally and abroad. He is a pioneer member of the Lagos Business School Owner-Manager Program. Being a man of many parts and a strong believer of giving back to his roots, he has supported the following initiatives through the company: the Gabriel Ugbechie Foundation in Delta State, which provides scholarships to undergraduate community healthcare services as well as youth employment initiative; the annual Rain Oil Lawn Tennis Tournament, which holds annually in Lagos, promoting youth and sports development in Nigeria; financial support to orphanages in Lagos and Abuja; provision of physical infrastructure and public amenities in local communities in Delta State; medical outreaches to schools in host communities; dedicated employment opportunities to youth in host communities. Among his many hobbies is playing lawn tennis, which he is very passionate about. He is married to Godry and they are blessed with 3 children. House on the Rock. Please make welcome Dr. Gabriel.
Put your hands together. You are clapping like you don't come to church with your hands. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. House on the Rock.
You get the glory. You get the praise. You get the honor. I just want to say thank you. You get the glory.
You get the glory.
You get the praise.
You get the praise.
Take all of the honor.
You take the honor.
I just want to say
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, church. Praise the Lord. Let me start by appreciating Pastor Cosfinney Udoka, his very lovely wife, and the entire leadership of this church for inviting me to the Man-to-Man Conference 2021. May God bless you. Let us pray. In Jesus' name. Father, I thank you. Father, I worship you. Father, I exalt and glorify your holy name. Father, this morning I stand before you in all humility. Father, use me to bless your people. Let every word that comes from my mouth be according to your will. Father, on my own I can do nothing. Father, on my own I have done nothing. Everything I have done, everything I have achieved is by your grace, is by your glory. And take all the glory. Anywhere I use the word I, Father, I know I'm referring to you because I do not share the glory with you. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Please be seated. Good morning, church. My name is Gabriel Ugbechie. I'm the Group Managing Director of Rain Oil Limited. Rain Oil Limited is a company that plays in the downstream space of the Nigeria oil and gas industry. It's a company I've run for the past going 25 years, a company which, by the grace of God, we started essentially from the scratch, from what I would call ground zero. And over the last 25 years, we've built it to what it is today. Today, I dare say Rain Oil is a very, 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 very significant player in the downstream oil and gas sector. We own more than 100 petrol stations across this country, from Lagos to Kano to Gombe to Lafia to Makurdi to Asaba, of course, to essentially all over the country. We own 3 storage depots in this country. We have one in Ogara, 50 million liter capacity. We have another one in Calabar, 50 million liter capacity. We have yet another one in Lagos, also with an 8,000 metric ton liquefied petroleum gas facility, also in Lagos. A huge fleet of tank trucks with which we distribute petroleum products across this country. And we provide direct employment, as the pastor also pointed out, to more than 1,200 Nigerians. Beyond that, we also have interest in other sectors of the economy, from agri to banking to, I'm an investor. Today, I will be continuing on what we've been talking on from yesterday morning through yesterday evening. But this morning, I am privileged to stand before you this morning to take on a topic: managing and scaling your business. Managing and scaling your business. I will look at this topic today from essentially 2 broad outlines. The first, I will look at our current economic climate. Where are we as a nation economically? Then we'll look at the substance of what we are talking about today: managing and scaling your business. The current economic climate. Nigeria 10 years ago, our population was about 158 million. Today, our population is about 211 million people and counting. GDP 10 years ago, 2010, about 363 billion. Today, our GDP is about 442 billion. Unemployment rate 10 years ago, about 21%. Today, unemployment is 33.3%. So what that means is that 1 in every 3 eligible Nigerian who desires a job does not have a job. And I'm sure every single person here in this hall knows somebody who does not have a job. Now, we are not even talking of those who are underemployed. I'm talking of those who are eminently qualified but are doing jobs that are below their skill set or below their level of qualification. Exchange rate 10 years ago was about 122 naira to the dollar. Today, exchange rate officially, CBN says about 410. Unofficially on the streets, exchange rate is somewhere flirting with 585 naira to the dollar. 10 years ago, the total market capitalization of the Nigeria Stock Exchange in dollar terms was about $50.8 billion. Now, when we say total market capitalization on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the publicly quoted companies in Nigeria are traded on the floor of the stock exchange. Now, when you aggregate the total worth of all these companies in terms of market valuation, that's what we call the market capitalization. 10 years ago, that figure was about $50.8 billion. Today, that figure is $49.5 billion. Now it has gone down in total market cap. You see, the interesting thing is that in the last 10 years, we've had major companies list on the stock exchange. 10 years ago, MTN was not on the stock exchange. So MTN has listed. The total market capitalization of MTN alone is 3.5 trillion naira on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Bua Cement has listed. The total market cap of Bua Cement is 2.3 trillion naira. Airtel has also listed. The total market cap of Airtel is 2.6 trillion naira. Now, these three companies, just taking them as examples, have listed in the last 10 years and added and increased the total market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. However, regardless of the listing of these companies in the last 10 years, and these are high capitalization stock, regardless of the listing, in dollar terms, the value of the stock exchange has gone down. No thanks to the fast erosion in the value of our currency. Now, the implication of this is that when you want to save, you need to find creative ways of saving your money. Because in the last 10 years, and it's sliding very fast, we are seeing people's wealth being seriously eroded because of the slide in the value of the naira. Foreign reserve 10 years ago was about $35 billion. Today, it's still about 34.8. Not much has changed. But total debt as a nation, 10 years ago, we're owing $35 billion. Today, Nigeria is indebted to the tune of $87 billion and counting. Our total debt today is $87 billion and counting. Today, Nigeria is spending about 95% of our income just to service debt. Now, what that means is that for every 100 naira we earn, 95 naira goes towards paying debt. So we have just 5 naira to spend as a nation. I was at the ICANN conference a couple of months ago where I was also privileged to speak, and one very top government official came to speak. I'm not going to mention her name here. And one of the things she said is that even the federal government is borrowing money to pay salaries. So it tells you that our debt situation is getting very, very scary. Now, managing and scaling our business. Managing and scaling our business. The first thing I want to talk about is strategic planning. If you want to scale your business, you must have strategic planning. Establish agreement around intended outcomes and results. Scaling a business is not by accident. You need to sit down and come up with a plan, a strategic plan. Where do I want to be 5 years from today? Write it down. How do I want to get there? Write it down. And then begin to implement it step by step. And periodically review what you're doing. Let me tell you one funny thing about life. Life is a continuum. It's 1 second leading to the other, 1 minute leading to the other, 1 hour leading to the other, 1 day leading to the other, 1 week leading to the other, 1 month leading to the other, 1 year leading to the other. You just wake up one day, 10 years have passed. There is no day you just close your eye, and by the time you open it, they say a week has passed. No. It's a continuum. If you've lived for, congratulations to Pastor Cosfinney for your upcoming 50th. But for the past 50 years, it is 1 day leading to the other. So there is no need to procrastinate. Write it down and follow through. Establish agreement around your intended outcomes. Ensure that your employees and stakeholders are working towards a common goal. Because you have a team. Everybody must be working towards the same outcome. Everybody knowing what their role in that whole plan is. Assess and adjust the organization's direction in response to a changing environment. Most importantly, do an assessment. Where are you now? This is where I am now. Where do I want to be? Then, most importantly, how do I get there? 3 steps. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? And how do I get there? Because success is not an accident. It's not kalo. Success is not something you throw a coin into a box and then you just pull it and then you become successful. No. You have to be strategic about it. Number 2, financial discipline. Financial discipline. You must have the right mindset about money. You cannot be successful if you cannot control money. Let me tell you one thing. Money for me is just a number. It means nothing. 1 billion naira, 2 billion naira. It means nothing. It doesn't change anything. There is no amount of money you will tell me I have in my pocket that will make me buy something I did not plan to buy. It doesn't mean anything. For the entrepreneur, money is for production. For the employee, with all due respect, money is for consumption. You know, the man who is working, and when you have a job, with all due respect, you earn a salary, you want to pay your rent, you want to do this, you want to buy that, and then a little bit of savings. The entrepreneur keeps thinking of the next project. What do I want to do? What am I doing next? What am I doing next? Which is why, you know, I'll give you an example. Gentlemen, what's your name? Solomon. You know, Solomon is into real estate. Solomon has acquired a large parcel of land at Otulu. He bought the money. He bought the land, rather, with his money. He's acquired the land. Huge parcel of land. He wants to develop an estate there. So Solomon has gotten a QS. He has designed it and he has costed it. The estate is going to cost him 800 million naira to build. And then Solomon goes to his bank and how much do I have in the bank there? And then the account officer just scribbles the figure to him. Solomon has 200 million naira in the account. He wants to do a project of how much? Does Solomon have money? Does Solomon have money? Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Does Solomon have money? Some people say yes. A man wants to do a project of 800 million. He has only 200 million. Solomon is so broke, you have no idea. Solomon is broke to the tune of 600 million. It's a mindset. Because Solomon is not looking at the 200 million. He is looking at the 800 million naira project he has to. So when you go to Solomon with all those kind of story, how keke jam trailer driver die, why if Solomon doesn't give you 500,000 naira today, something is going to happen, nothing will happen. Solomon will tell you he has no money. But just flip it that Solomon is not a businessman. He's working somewhere and has the same 200 million naira. And then he goes to the bank and say, how much do I have there? They say he has 200 million naira. How will that same person feel? He feels that he has a lot of money, and truly, he has a lot of money. Now listen, same amount of money, same bank, 2 different people, 2 different circumstances, and 2 different outcomes. That is the difference between a businessman and an employee. The way they look at money is different. You need to change your mindset about money. Reappraise borrowings and working capital requirement strategies. Identify and eliminate, redeploy unnecessary cost heads, minimize your cost of operations without necessarily compromising quality. You know, talking about, again, financial discipline and having the right mindset about money. I tell people one of the best ways to raise money and to deal with money is through what I call savings. The next question I will ask is, somebody is earning, let me keep it simple. Somebody is earning 50,000 naira. At the end of the month, he's broke, correct? Naturally, he's broke. Another man is earning 40,000 naira. At the end of the month, he's also broke, but he's not dead. Am I correct? If somebody is earning 50,000 naira at the end of the month, he's broke. If somebody is earning 40,000 naira at the end of the month, he's broke and he's not dead. How come the man who is earning 50,000 naira cannot save 10,000 naira? Why? You know what? It's consumption. It's consumption. You know, pastor's wife, big woman. She's carrying a bag. It's a Louis Vuitton bag. It costs 300,000. Let me just keep it simple. Another person is carrying a bag. It costs 100,000. What's the difference? One woman is carrying a hair. You know, they call it Brazilian hair. They say it's 100,000. Another one is carrying another hair. They say it's 80. What's the difference? A guy buys a shirt. He says it's what fancy name do they call it? He's bought it for 20,000. Another one has bought his shirt for 15,000. What's the difference? The truth is, if you earn 50,000 and you can't save 10,000, if you earn 500,000, you cannot save 50,000. Because as your income increases, so does your taste increase to match your income. It's natural. That is why you will see somebody who has been living in a room and parlor for 5 years and living peacefully, at peace with himself, suddenly realizes that, you know, I cannot wait to move into, I want to go and move into that flat. Know that something is pushing him, pepper don't enter pocket, that he's itching to spend. I'm not saying don't upgrade yourself. I'm saying have the right mindset about money. You must be able to control your money and have the proper mindset. That is what today I call financial discipline. Number 3, leverage technology. Leverage technology. Technology should function as a change agent towards best-in-class operations. Leverage technology. Leverage tech-driven marketing channels, e.g. social media. Where are your customers spending their time? Where are your customers spending their time? And set up shop in those places. You know, I look at, you run a business. When I look at years ago before social media came, the highest circulating newspaper in Nigeria, maybe the Punch or This Day, their circulation at most 100,000 copies a day. 100,000 copies. Today, we have more than 187 million Nigerians who are active mobile subscribers. And internet users are more than 139 million Nigerians. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody is on the internet. 76% of these people are on Facebook. So you can imagine more than 70 million people are on Facebook. Imagine if you have a product, between putting it in a paper that is circulating, that has a print run of not more than 100,000, and putting it on the social media where you can reach so many people. So you must leverage technology to scale up your business. Technology is there, use it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Whatever has been created, just use it. There's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, of course, there is Twitter. Number 4, stay innovative. Stay innovative. New products and services that add value and improve customer satisfaction. Introduce them so that they complement your products and services. Find unserved and underserved niches in your market and industry. And most importantly, new effective sales channels that can deliver and diversify your brand and attract more customers. Stay innovative. You know, when I look at the business world and look at innovation, I mean, for those of us who stay in Lagos, years ago, even when you can afford it, you want to go out, you want to take drop. But to take that drop, you need to come out to the street, stand on the road, and wait for a taxi that will come. You will flag down the taxi. You will tell the taxi where you want to go to. While standing, you will negotiate how much it will be before you agree, and then before the taxi will carry. This is drop, or big man drop. But look at the process. Some people were sitting down in Silicon Valley, in America, not in Lagos, to say, how do we solve this kind of problem that is happening in Lagos but is not exclusive to Lagos? And that is how the concept of Uber came about. So today, you want to go somewhere in the comfort of your home. You put where you want to go to. Somebody will accept it. They will tell you the price. You will confirm. While in your home, you're watching the man move. You know he's 7 minutes away. He's 5 minutes away. He's 2 minutes away. You begin to step out. He has arrived. You just go there. Okay, that's the car. You just open the door. Go in. Slam your door. The man carries you, he drops you, you open the door and walk away. The money is taken from your account. That is innovation. When COVID started, you know, during the lockdown, I went to play tennis with some of my friends. I love to play tennis. I'm passionate about tennis. So we're playing tennis, and everywhere was under lockdown. And we needed a bit of entertainment. And somebody said, oh, we can actually order suya online. And so, really? And he just ordered the suya. And a few 30 minutes later, an outrider came to deliver the suya. Suya seller has moved his business online. Since that day, I've been patronizing them. You no longer need to drive to Glover Road, Ikoyi, that you want to buy suya. Go online. The suya will come to you. How much innovation have you brought to your business? You see, in life, the only thing that is constant is change. As the business terrain keeps changing, you need to keep changing and keep being innovative in line with those changes. If not, you just wake up one day, you have lost your business. You know, I get this example about, they say, if you put a toad in a boiling water, the toad will jump out and survive. If you leave that toad in cool water and heat it up gradually, the heat will kill the toad there. Because the toad will not know when he crosses that critical path when the temperature becomes harmful to him. So you need to be very, very perceptive on what is happening around you. Number 5, customer focus. Customer focus. The customer is firmly in the driving seat, and how you build and nurture those relationships with potential existing customers is very critical. You are only in business because you have customers. It doesn't matter how difficult the customer is. It doesn't matter what you think of the customer is always right. Because it is where the customer decides to spend his business that ultimately is the right decision. So the customer is always right. Keep your focus on the customer. A customer-centric way of doing business is focused on providing a positive customer experience before and after the sale in order to drive repeat business, enhance customer loyalty, and improve business growth. Emphasize centricism among your workforce. Your sales team is the interface with your market. Employees can be fired if they do not fit within your customer-centric nature. Ensure that both you and your staff are all focused on the same thing, which is the customer. Ensure, if you want to scale your business, a repeat customer. Remember, a couple of years ago, I was in Houston. I bought a car, an Infiniti QX56, lovely car, which I have in my place in the US. After buying the car, 2 weeks later, I got a call from the salesman to say, Mr. Ugbechie, how is the car doing? I said, the car is doing well. 6 months later, I get a call again from the same salesman. How is the car doing? I said, the car is doing okay. Periodically, I will get a call. How is the car doing? The car is doing fine. 2 years later, I wanted to buy, because I really like the car, so I wanted to buy the car and bring to Nigeria so I can also use it. Who do you think I went back to? I went back to the same man. Why did I go back to him? Because he kept in touch. How many of us here ever reach out to people who patronize us? How many of us here maintain a database of our customers? If you don't maintain a database of your customers, please, from today, begin to do it. It's easier to get a repeat sale than to get a new sale. It's easier. The person has patronized you. It doesn't need much convincing anymore. Have you noticed that if you enter most pharmacies these days and you buy something, while you're doing that, they ask you for, what's your phone number? What's your email address? How many of you here notice it? Every shop in the US, they do it. As a matter of fact, most times when I shop in the US and they're asking me for my email, I say, I kind of hesitate about giving them because I know the next thing they are going to do. They are going to start bombarding me with email. Why wouldn't they bombard you with emails? You have already bought from them. So it's easier to sell to you. It's easier to sell to you than to try to get a new, because a satisfied customer is far more likely to come back than trying to convince a new customer. So please focus on your customers. Focus on your customers and ensure that your customers are satisfied. Communicate effectively. Communicate effectively. Gabriel, this company is like a boat. It's like a canoe. We are all in this boat. If we are in this boat, just imagine that we are in this boat and somebody is fetching water to pour into the boat, trying to capsize the boat. Which one is better? To pick that person and throw him overboard, let him drown alone or to allow him to capsize the whole boat so that everybody will drown? Which one is better? Is to throw him up. The important thing there is that in every organization, everybody has a stake. Both the owner of the organization and the employees of the organization. Everybody has a stake. Because that organization is the well from where everybody is drawing from to meet their own need, including the owner of the business. I tell people that in Rain Oil Group today, I have 1,200 people plus working for the organization. I, Gabriel Ugbechie, I don't have a right to ruin that organization. I don't. It's a sense of responsibility. Because more than 1,200 people have staked their livelihood on the organization. So at all times, you must act responsibly. And you must act with a sense of responsibility. So you need to communicate effectively and let employees know and let them be aware of every issue that has implications for them. Do not let communication and teamwork collapse due to anxious employees whose confidence in the company direction may have waned. Even when you run into a tough patch, it's always important to let them know. Don't keep things away from them. If not, nature abhors a vacuum. It's either you give them communication as forthright as possible so they hear from you, or they fill in the gap in their own way. And when they fill in the gap, don't blame them. So when you hear from the grapevine what is happening in the system, which is actually when you hear something that shocks you, don't blame them because you have actually not told them what. And then people decide to leave or to stay depending on what perception they have, which may be fed by the wrong information. So you need to be honest and forthright and direct with employees and communicate with greater frequency. Scale out. Scale your business and branch out. Scale your business. The Bible tells us 1 we chase 1,000 and 2 we chase what? 10,000. 1 we chase 1,000 and 2 we chase 10,000. In any business you do, in any location you find yourself, competition must catch up with you. In any business you do, in any location you find yourself, competition will catch up with you. Go and open a fashion shop on Nebisi Road and be doing well. When people come into your shop and they are buying clothes and buying items, as they are patronizing you, they are mentally counting the money you're making. Do I have a witness in the house? Oh boy, you don't see Tina shop. Tina don't clean out. Give yourself 6 months. Fashion shops will set up around you. Just give yourself 6 months. Fashion shop will set up around you. For those of us in Lagos who know Lagos well, in the very early 90s, a fast food shop set up on Allen Roundabout. It's called Tantalizers. For those of you who know Lagos well. Very early 90s. Tantalizers was such a hit that when you come there was a photographer who will just take you picture that you came to Tantalizer. Because coming to Tantalizer was a big deal. You go to Tantalizers, there will be queue just to eat. As they were making money, people were taking notice. Today, you go to Allen, where Tantalizer is, There's Sweet Sensation. There is Tasty Fried Chicken. There is Munchies. There is this. There is Mr. Biggs. Why? Competition has caught up with it. In the early 2000s, about 2005, 2006, we came to Asaba. I set up 2 stations. My first 2 stations in Asaba was set up in 2006, 2005, 2006. I had one down the road, close to SIO Industries, which we call, in Reno, we call it Asaba 1. And then we have this one, coming from Okpanam Road on the right, somewhere there. We call it Asaba 2. Asaba 2, this one here, was doing so well. It was selling like 45,000 liters of petrol in a day. It was doing so well. 2006, 2007. As the station was doing well, the market was what? The market was taking notice. A few years down the line, there are 4 petrol stations opposite it, 5 to the right of it, 6 to the left of it, all coming to do what? Share in the same market. But while that was going on, we've moved on. While that was going on, we've gone to Enugu. While Enugu was going on, we've gone to Kaduna. We've gone to Kano. We've gone to... So even though our aggregate share of the market in this location was going down, our aggregate share of the national market is doing what? Is going north. So you need to branch out. About 2009, 2008, 2009, we decided to build our first depot in Ogara. Then when you say Ogara, nobody knows where Ogara is as far as the fuel distribution map was concerned. But when I was in the university, I recall that in my 400 level in Uniben, I did my industrial training in a company in Ogara called Nagro Rubber. And I knew that the first place I ever saw sheep in my life was in Ogara. So I knew sheep come there. So I went there, explored the place, and decided to set up a depot in Ogara. You know, because if you load in Lagos, for those of you who are familiar with Lagos, just getting out of Lagos alone is a whole day's journey. But if you load in Ogara, you can leave Ogara and be in Abuja same day. Ogara hit Benin, hit Lokoja, and you're gone. So when we started building the depot, I used to go there. There was this early morning flight to Benin, and then between 8 and 9 in the morning, I'll be driving towards Ogara, and I will be smiling and say, when the world realizes what is going on here, it's going to take it by storm. Eventually, we finished that depot in 2011, and we opened. I remember when we opened, I went to discuss with a financial institution, and I was telling them to support the business that we have. And then they said, where is that? When that facility opened, it was like fire. Before the ship will arrive, every single liter has been paid for. Today, you go to Ogara. When we started, we were the only depot in Ogara that was selling petrol. The entire Edo, Delta, up to Ondo, everybody essentially was getting their petrol from the rain oil depot in Ogara. Between then and now, at least 7 or 8 other depots have opened in Ogara. But you know what? While they were coming to get a share of that market, we did not sit down there to say this is where God has buttered our bread. No. You see, this is where God has buttered our bread. I just spread out. No. By 2000, we opened that depot in 2011. By 2013, we have started building another one in Calabar to go and get a slice of the market in Calabar. By 2015, we had opened a depot in Calabar. And even though we started doing very well in Calabar, we did not sit down there to say, this is where God has buttered our bread. We have moved. By 2019, we have opened yet another depot in Lagos. By 2020, we have built an LPG plant also in Lagos. Because in any location you find yourself, it's only a matter of time. Competition will catch up with you. Scale your business. Scale your business. You either grow or you die. There is no remaining static. You either grow or you die. The day you stop growing is the day you begin to regress. You know why? The size of the market is finite. The global size of the market is finite in whatever you do. If you are, whatever service you render, if you are in the fashion business, let's say the clothing business, we can put a scale to the size of that market. We can say, for example, the fashion business in Nigeria is, for argument's sake, 20 billion naira per annum business. So it doesn't matter whether you're playing on the Ogbogonogo end of it. There's an Onitsha end of it that you are not playing in. There's an Nnewi end of it that you're not playing in. So the day you have only one shop, no matter how well that shop is doing, if you don't scale that shop and begin to play in other markets, at some point, competition will catch up with you and your business will begin to identify your core competence. Number 8, identify your core competence. Without knowing what your core competence is, it's difficult to create a strategic advantage. You need to identify and emphasize your company's core competencies in order to invest in focused growth. What's your core competence? I tell people the most important thing you need in any business you want to do is knowledge. The most important thing you need in any business you want to do is knowledge. A lot of people think it's capital. I say no, it's knowledge. When knowledge is ahead of capital, knowledge acts as a protective shield over the capital. When you put capital ahead of knowledge, what tends to happen is that you tend to lose the capital to acquire the knowledge. And that's when we say you have learned the hard way. May it not be our portion to learn the hard way in Jesus' name. You see, there is money in this country. There is money. If you can't see it, I'm seeing it. A country of 200 million people, you can't go wrong. 200 million mouths to feed. 200 million people to feed, to clothe. 200 million people to house. There is money. The Bible admonishes us that whatsoever we lay our hand shall prosper. Whatsoever we lay our hand on. But what it did not add is that we should lay our hands on what we understand. Lay your hand on what you understand. I went into the oil business because I had worked for an oil company for 5 years. I saw money being made. I knew that if I could lay my hand on that magical seed capital, I will be able to make a success of it. But to make a success of the oil business, lay your hand on what you understand. What is your core competence? The man who is into IT is making money. The man who is into oil is making money. The man who is into property is making money. The man who is into furniture is making money. The man who is selling food is making money. So there is money. But the key thing is, what is your core competence? Where do you have a core? Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot do what you don't understand. It doesn't mean that if you're not in the food business, maybe you're in the fashion business, but you want to go into the food business, but you've never done the food business. Yes, you can do the food business, but don't go in with your capital straight up. Keep your capital, quarantine it, lock it up somewhere, and go and understudy that business first. Learn the ropes. Understand how it is done. Having understood it, you can now begin to bring your money to do it. When you don't understand it and you carry your capital to jump headlong into it, you run the risk of losing your money. You know, by the grace of God, I dare say, we've been successful running a downstream oil and gas company. So I see a lot of people who come to me, oh, I have this money, I want to do this business. Oh, I have this LPO, I want to do this business. And I say, you know, you just listen to them, just listening to them for 5 minutes, you know they have no idea what they are talking about. You will not be the one begging them to say, please, for your own sake, I take God beg you, don't do it. Because your money will go up in smoke faster than you can comprehend. Identify your core competence. Stay on what you understand. Reinvest in the business. Reinvest in the business. Keep your earnings in the business. Keep your earnings in the business. Keep your earnings in the business. As you make money, keep your profits in the business. Use your earnings to scale your business. You start a business with 10 million. You make 3 million naira as profit. You blow the 3 million. You're still at the 10 million. You make another 5 million. You spend it. You're still at your 10 million. Is that business growing? The business is not growing. The best way to grow a business is through retained earnings. The Bible says 1 will chase 1,000 and 2 will chase what? 10 is the power of multiplication. You start a business with 10 million, you make 15 million, you begin to trade with 15 million, you make another 5 million, you begin to trade with 20 million. Because you see, there is multiplication. The rate at which 10 million will produce money is not the same rate at which 50 million will produce money. You know, it's like I make money, I build 1 petrol station. I have 1 petrol station contributing into the pool. Suddenly I have 2 petrol stations contributing into it. Suddenly I have 10 petrol stations contributing into it. Suddenly you have 20 petrol stations contributing. Can you see that the rate of multiplication will now be kind of what we call geometric proportion instead of arithmetic proportion? You know, Tony Montana in his classic movie Scarface says, don't get high on your own supplies. Don't get high on your own supplies. You know, forgive me for giving this example because this is a church. You know, for those who go to nightclubs, when you go to a nightclub, you see the nightclub, everybody is reveling. Those who are drinking are drinking. Those who are ordering and ordering. But the owner of the nightclub, do you know what he's sipping? Sipping soft drink and water. You know why? His eye must be clear. Are you joking? The owner of the club never gets drunk. Never. His eye must... Come, waiter. See that man. Have you collected the money? Follow him. Because you don't get high on your own supplies. Keep your earnings in the business. Let me tell you something. Because of the peculiarity of the environment in which we find ourselves, the best way actually to grow any business is your retained earnings. You know, as you grow the business, you begin to introduce debt into the business. banks begin to give you money. But bank money is actually very expensive money. Today, banks will give you money at 17%, 15%. If you're a high-end company, maybe they give you at 13%. But anything between 17 to 20%. There are very few capital projects you can do with 17, 20% money and make money. Do I have a witness in the house? There are very few capital projects you can do with that kind of borrowing and make money. So as much as possible, use your own money, what we call equity money, to grow the business. Then you can take bank money to trade. Buy fuel, sell fuel, take it back to the bank. Buy fuel, sell fuel, take it back to the bank. Red Oil is a company that we've grown largely with retained earnings, internally generated funds. Every single asset we have, we essentially do with our money. Our borrowings, we keep it in working capital. And even in that working capital, it's just a fraction. We try to ensure that our working capital is a good mix of equity and debt. We can drill down on that. A good mix of equity and debt. Buy fuel, sell fuel, take it back to the bank. Because just imagine that you're running a hotel business. If you borrow money at 17 to 20%, which is compound interest, that money will double in 4 years. If you borrow 100 million from, I'm not talking of these other loan sharks that a lot of people seem to be dealing with these days. As much as possible, avoid them. If you borrow money from a normal financial institution, forget all the flat charges and this and this and this. At 17 to 20%, that money will double in 4 years. I don't know what business you will do in terms of capital project to be able to repay that kind of money. You know, if you run a business, one thing you must be able to manage is debt. You must be able to manage debt, and you must understand financial statements. If you don't manage your debt can quickly spiral out of control. Keep your earnings in the business. Build broad management skill sets. It takes more than a founder to build a successful business. Although founders have given expertise, growth requires an expanded skill set. A founder can start a business when it is small. But as the business begins to grow and scale, you need to begin to put proper structures and bring the proper skill sets to be able to manage it. A lot of my friends come to me and say, "But Gabriel, how are you sitting down in Lagos and you're running petrol stations all over the country?" And I ask the same question. I say, wait a moment. Nigerian breweries, they have brewery in Lagos, in Aba, in Ibadan, in Kaduna, in Enugu. Do you know where the owners are? They are sitting down in Netherlands. They are looking at a spreadsheet. And looking at that spreadsheet, they are able to run this. They are able to run these businesses. The only way you can do it is get people with the right skill sets to be able to run the businesses for you and with you. Be humble. Understand that the fact that God gave you the grace and the vision to start the business doesn't make you a Superman. Nor does it make you Solomon with the wisdom, as if you're the Mr. Know-it-all. No. Everybody has something to add. Empower people, allow them to run. They may make their mistakes, but a slice of a very large cake is better than 100% of a very small cake. How big is the cake? We are baking a cake. Business is about baking cake. When you bake a large cake, everybody gets. Have you seen where they killed an elephant? And people are cutting the meat and they no fit finish them. It's too big. How big is the cake you're baking? Either you allow people come and join you and bake a very large cake, that when you get a slice of it, it's something very substantial, or you keep your cake very small and manageable, that's something that can just fit into your palm. You have it 100%, but that 100% is what? Is very small. How big is your cake? So build broad management skill set. You need to build a team with broad and complementary skills. Establish standardized processes and controls. Establish standardized processes and controls. Managing business operations by hands-on involvement of the founder will eventually limit growth. At some point, you have to let go. But at the point of letting go, you have to put standardized processes. You know, to scale a business, the implementation of standardized and repeatable processes are crucial with proper delegation. Again, Rain Oil has more than 100 petrol stations spread across the country. We have tank farms across the nation as well. But just sitting in our head office in Lagos, we can tell every morning what stock each petrol station has, what they have sold. No, we don't have to wait for them to send the report. We know. Why? Technology will tell us. Technology will tell us how much fuel each pump has dispensed. No, I don't have to wait for you to tell me. You patronize our station at Summit. Please keep patronizing that station. It's a beautiful station. Sitting down in Lagos, we can tell what each pump have sold. It's a process. As you grow a business, invest in technology. It's been built. Use it. I entered one supermarket in Asaba one day. As I always do, when I come, I have a dad, he's 95. I love to shop for him. I love him, he's so much. So I just go there, I shop, I buy provisions. They know. Those who work with me, they know. I'm also going to do it today because I have to see him before I go back. I bought everything, just buy. After buying, the person was, the way they still use hand. The guy brought out one big calculator. And he was punching like this, punching like this, punching like this, punching. And then they say, okay, your money is so much. And I say, how can I believe you? In 2020, you're still doing this Casio calculator. Guy, that is the model we used in 1980. In 2020, but he can get away with that because the owner is sitting in the shop. But if he has to scale that business, a time will come when he will have supermarkets that he has not even visited. I have 100 petrol stations. Some of them have run for like 3 years. I've never been there. What am I going to look for there? Our job is to set up the business, put the structure, put the controls, put the technology, and it will run. And we know what they are doing. Do you understand me? Scale your business. Scale your business. Because if you keep running it from a hands-on approach where only you can do the job, you will limit the growth and the scale of that business. Establish standardized processes and control. Implement effective controls to mitigate critically identified business risk. This may require investment in purchasing support systems, including IT, which I've spoken on extensively, and training your personnel accordingly. I remember when I just started my career. When I left Uniben in 1987, I did my NYC in Kano, 87, 88. And then the first job I ever did was with a vegetable oil company in Kano called Sharada Edible Oils Limited. I joined the company as a factory engineer. I was young, I was energetic. There was this, my technical director, an Indian, an Egyptian, Mr. Bahi. Mr. Bahi liked me so much. Because again, I was very smart. I'm still very smart, I dare say. I worked there for 2.5, 3 years. The post of the production manager became vacant. I had senior engineers there. Mr. Bahi said, Gabriel will do the job. He gave me that position. Young, I was like 23, 24. He gave me the job. There was all kinds of opposition. My MD then was a man called Mr. Sheraton, a British man. You know, we're running this factory, we're running 24 hours. We're running 24 hours, we're running shifts. 24 hours, we're paying money over time. So the shift was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. They were supposed to work 4 hours, 8 hours. So 4 hours was overtime. And overtime during the week, we pay it at time and a half. So if your hourly pay was 8 naira, you get 12 naira. Weekends, it was straight 12 hours was overtime. And it was time rate times 2. So if your hourly pay is 8 naira, you get 16 naira. Can you follow my logic? So every time there will be argument on, no, when the time comes to pay overtime, all kinds of argument will come. The money is too much. We should stop overtime. We go for management meeting. All kinds of arguments will be going on. I sat there in my house one day, young engineer, and I said, Gabriel, there's only one thing that will resolve this argument. We need to appeal to logic. So on my own, I'm an engineer. I did an analysis. I went to gather data. I went to the accounts department. I said, give me data. How much are we spending on staff cost? Like for me, I wasn't earning overtime. I'm a senior staff, so my cost is fixed. I gathered data and I did the analysis. What are we going to produce if we do overtime? What are we going to produce if we don't do overtime? I did all the analysis. And with my analysis, we came to the conclusion that even though we're spending more money on overtime, we were better off running 24 hours. I did the analysis and I shared it with all the directors. And Monday morning, Mr. Sheraton, the MD, I was not his direct report, so he doesn't talk to me, or Igbo man, doesn't talk to me. Monday morning, I saw the man walk into the premise. He was holding a folder, blue folder. He was walking towards my block. And then he suddenly came straight to my office, put out his hand like this, shook my hands and said, Gabriel, this is the most intelligent, he was holding my report. This is the most intelligent report I've ever gotten out of this company. This was a compliment that stayed with me for a long time because I brought value. Since that day, that argument died. It ceased because we had appealed to facts. In leaving that company, Mr. Bahi, my technical director, left me with 2 words of wisdom that I never forget. One, Mr. Bahi said, Gabriel, in trying to save 10 naira, a time comes when the cost of saving 10 naira becomes higher than 10 naira. At that point, let it go. Let me break it down for you. What it means is you're running a company. As the MD, you know that because of the environment in which we live, if you send somebody to go and buy stationery, that stationery may be 5,000. There is a risk the guy will buy it and bring receipt of 8,000, correct? Do you have a witness in the house? Okay. There is every likelihood. But you see, it's wrong, correct? Am I correct? It's wrong now. You buy something for 5,000, you say it's 8,000. So, to stop it, I can decide to enter my car, and drive to the market and go from one shop to the other and actually buy it for 5,000 and save how much? 3,000. But have you saved 3,000? At what cost have you done that? At what cost have you done what? Have you done that? So at that point, you do what? Let it go. So what Mr. Bahi essentially was telling me is, Gabriel, look at the big picture. Those who focus on the small picture never go far. Keep your eyes on the goal. Number 2, he said, Gabriel, when somebody is making money, you know. If you think the person is working hard enough for the money he's making, leave him. If he's not working hard enough, stop him. What it means is that when you run a business, when you sit atop a business, you see a lot. It's not everything you see that the mouth speaks, correct? God gave us 2 eyes, gave us 2 ears, and gave us 1 mouth. You know why? We should see more, hear more, talk less. When you sit on top of an organization, you see things that are happening. Those who are making money, you know. But those who are working very hard and adding value, a lot of value, but while adding value, they are getting a small slice of the cake. Leave it. But there are some who are only interested in that slice of cake without adding value. Stop it. Because, we strive for perfection. The word is striving for perfection. We are not perfect. If you keep looking for perfect people to work for you, you will wake up one day and realize that you are one man standing. Look at the big picture. Build an effective network. The growth mindset needs to extend to partnership with people and organizations. It's imperative to build a network of key partners. How rich is your network? Where do you hang out? How many people do you know? In this Asaba, how many people do you know? In this church that you attend, how many people do you know? You need to build a network. As some people say, your network determines your net worth. How rich is your network? When I was in paid employment, I was working for a company then before I started Rain Oil. As a young man, I used my own money. 25,000 naira in 1995. It was a lot of money for a salary earner. I used 25,000 and joined a club in Lagos called Lagos Country Club, where I go to play tennis and also hang out with bigger boys. One day, the company I was working for imported a container load of cornstarch. Mind you, we are a downstream oil and gas company. We imported a container load of cornstarch. As the head of sales and operations, the responsibility was mine to sell the container load of cornstarch. I've never sold cornstarch before. I finished playing tennis one day, and the man in my shorts, all sweating, the man who played tennis with me was the planning director of Cadbury Nigeria PLC, the man in charge of purchasing and everything. So I just told him, Ogachike, I have a container load of cornstarch. I want Cadbury to buy it. He just picked up the phone, called the purchasing manager of Cadbury and said, Dr. Gumoela, a gentleman called Gabriel Ugbechie will come and see you tomorrow. Negotiate and buy the container load. It was an instruction. Cadbury bought the whole container, not part of it. When I went to the office and told my Oga that I have sold the entire container. He said, how? I told him. He begged me that he wants to see the man. My own MD was begging me. So I went back to Engineer Mora. God bless his soul. He's passed on now. I said, Oga, please. My Oga wants to meet you. So he gave us appointment. We now went to Cadbury. From the gate, fill form, pass through security, protocol, reception, to get to the man's office. When we entered the man's office, I realized the privilege I had to be able to talk to him one-on-one without ceremony. Where are you hanging out in Asaba? Which clubs do you belong to? I went to see a very, very top government official yesterday night. I'm not going to mention his name. Oh, Gabriel, you know, in the morning, I was playing golf at Ibori Golf Course. I said, yes, you're playing golf. How many of you here are hanging out there? There are people in this town, you go to their offices and wait hours on end to see. Mark my word, there are places you will go to. You will see them like this, one-on-one without any intermediary. Invest in your network. I don't live in Abuja. I'm a member of IBB Golf Club in Abuja. I may not go there in 1 year. But the day I need to see somebody there, I should be able to walk in there as a member, not as a guest. It's investment. Invest in yourself. Invest in your network. Finally, I close with staying power. Staying power. Staying power is what gets you going when nothing seems to be happening. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. For those who are in employment, you work for Global's Bank, your salary is 500,000 naira a month. Every month you get 500,000. Every month you get 500,000. Businesses don't make money that way. When they say a business has made profit of 120 million naira in a year, it does not mean they make 10 million naira every month. This month, you can make 5 million. The following month, you can make 30 million. The next month, you may lose 10 million. The next month, you may just barely break even. But at the end of the month, at the end of the year, it adds up. The last place I worked before I started Rain Oil, my boss then told me, Gabriel, you see this business, every 1 year you must make money. But you need 2 months to make that money. You have to wait for those 2 months. It can be January, February. It can be November, December. It can be June, July. But those 2 months will come. So when your business seems to be going through a dry spell, you need staying power. That is not the time to start contemplating to go back to where you're coming from. Because the Bible has told us, once you put your hand on the plow, there is no looking back. There is no going back to Egypt. In closing, finally, in conclusion, it was J.C. Penney, James Cash Penney, the founder of J.C. Penney, said, no company can afford not to move forward. It may be at the top of the heap today, but at the bottom of the heap tomorrow, if it does not move forward. There is no remaining static. My prayer today is that God will continually bless the works of our hand. My prayer today is that God will continually provide bread for us. May us never lack food on our table. My prayer is that whatsoever we lay our hands on shall prosper and is well with us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.